Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video, brand new series on the channel. This is all about Championship Fantasy Football, Gaffr.io. I've set up a league and I've got a special guest with me today, an expert in all things Championship Football. So it is Kyle from Stoke Gaffr. Kyle, how are you doing?
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'm looking forward to chatting about Championship football because it's not something I usually do. Apart from talking to the odd Stoke fan, I know that there's a Stoke fan who's got a podcast going all about Gaffr Championship, which is you can find it on Twitter at champ_express. So yeah, he's doing great work. He's he's taking a bit of time out at the moment for his wife and kid, but he should be back soon. And yeah, it's just great to have more content in this growing community because there's so much FPL content out there, but there's no Championship fantasy content. So yeah, to
Well,
add
there
to
is
that,
now, isn't there? There is now. We've got this
well, yeah,
new game
definitely.
coming out. I'm going to put a code to my league in the description down below, so make sure you join that, get involved. If we get enough people in it, we might give a prize away at the end of the season to the winner. But this is going to be about us talking about 5 categories ahead of the weekend. This is game week 4 of the new season, of course, and we're going to start with our captain's pick, Kyle. So I'll let you take the floor. Who should everyone be picking, and who have you picked as your captain this weekend?
Well, I can only go off who I've picked. Who I'm currently on at the moment because it might change. But for me, there's 3 options in my team. So I have a front line of Dominic Solanke, Adam Armstrong, and Narky Wells, which are all in pretty decent goal scoring form to start the season. So Solanke is up against Coventry. Adam Armstrong is at home to Cardiff, and Naki Wells is away at Forest. At the moment, I've chosen to go for Dominic Solanke as captain and Adam Armstrong as vice captain because I just feel like I can trust those two. And I think ownership is a big deal this early in the season. I know from playing FPL, it's always best to go safe early on, and then you can sort of take risks later on when you know what your rank is and whether you need to take risks at all, because sometimes just going with the pack and playing it safe works. So for me, Adam Armstrong, I have to captain or vice captain this week because he'll be so highly owned by so many managers in Gaffr. And also, I've chosen 2 strikers for my captain and vice captain because of the equal points weighting between defenders, midfielders, and strikers. So in Gaffr, it's different to FPL, which it takes a bit of time to get used to and understand the bonus point system and the point system because it is different. So in theory, defenders, midfielders, and strikers average about the same amount of points as a whole. But I feel like strikers you can rely on for more performance points because you get points for performance metrics. So stats-based things like dribbles, shots on target, assists, and goals. You can more or less rely on strikers getting those for the team. With defenders, you're relying on clean sheets a bit more, although you do have the security. You have the safety of the first half clean sheet being 2 points or the second half clean sheet being another 2 points. But I feel like with the midfield and defence, it's more related to the fixture and how well the team's performing, whereas with the strikers, they could lose 3-2 and score both goals. So it doesn't necessarily mean that because they've lost a game that their points will suffer.
So you've gone for
So
Solanke, is that right, against Coventry?
I've gone for Solanke
This is
with Adam
probably a good
Armstrong as
time to
vice captain.
probably a good time to mention I am a Coventry fan, so I'm taking
Oh,
great
okay.
offence to your captain pick.
Well, I didn't know about
Before you
that.
were
I do
invited on the
apologise.
channel, no, it's absolutely fine. I think he's a very good choice to have in your team, and obviously starting every game. I, for captain, have gone for your other mention, Adam Armstrong. I think if you just look at how many shots he's having per game, obviously he's top scorer in the Championship at the moment. Blackburn have scored 11 in their first 3 games. No other Championship side's done that for almost a decade, I think. And Blackburn have had 20 shots in total in their first 3 games, and he's averaging 5 shots a game. I mean, I know they're playing Cardiff and they're a better opponent than the likes of Wickham and Derby at the start of this season. They're not going to score 5 or 4 goals, but I'm certainly sure he's likely to get on the score sheet this week. I think he's only 7.7 million, and he's the top scoring player in the game at the moment. Like you say, a lot of people are going to play it safe, and I'm one of them this week in putting Adam Armstrong as captain. So I think 2 good captain choices. I agree with you about picking a forward as captain and vice captain as well, I think.
Yeah, and just adding on to that, I didn't cover that midfielders don't get the clean sheet point that they do in FPL, in Fantasy Premier League. So that means that midfielders aren't as good as captain options. You know, in FPL, I find myself just picking a midfielder because even if it goes badly, if their team gets a clean sheet, they get 3 points. Whereas with a striker, if their team blanks, they get 2 points. So I think a mixture of the performance points weighting being maybe slightly in favour of a striker if they perform well, you know, because you're always relying on performance no matter what with captaincy. And then you've also got the goals and assists on top of that. So I would go for a striker, particularly for this game week. And
there's a lot of goals at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, and
goals.
We don't know too much about the strength of the defences in the Championship either. We've only played 3 games, so it's not a lot to base your decisions on. But I just feel like going with the informed strikers at the moment is the way to go.
And we'll move on to the next category number 2 of 5, which is the must-have player in your team. It can cost as much or as little as you want. So, Carl, kick us off. I think you said we might have picked the same one here. So let's see what you've said first.
Well, to be honest, I've gone for a bit of a cop-out because it's so obvious. I don't know if you've done one of these videos before, but no. So this is the first one.
Yeah,
so I can go straight in there and say Adam Armstrong because he's scored 5 goals in 3 games, and I know he might not keep that up, and I know he's come up against 2 pretty lacklustre defences in Wickham and Derby so far. But the shots are there, the underlying stats are there, which count towards your bonus points. So he's taken 15 shots so far this season. So he's averaging a goal every 3 shots. And that is a good conversion rate, but it also means that he hasn't just had 6 shots and 5 of them have gone in. There is underlying stats to back up the goals that he's scored. He's also had 1 key pass and 1 successful dribble, which means he could actually get bonus points for those stats on top of the goals and assists and shots.
For me, Adam Armstrong's been wanting to play centrally for Blackburn, it seems, for years now. Last season, I think he was out on the left wing most of the time. And this season, finally, he's getting a chance down the middle. And you just look at this striker that he's become. He's in with a real shot of winning the Golden Boot for me. So that's why I've captained him this week. So I really agree with you. But my must-have player in my team is someone who's a little bit more expensive than Adam Armstrong and not a striker. I've actually put Millwall's Jed Wallace, and there's a reason for this. Okay. Because he's playing so far forward this season.
And they play Swansea next.
Yeah, he's playing. Admittedly, this is a long-term pick. I think Swansea are one of the better teams in the division. So this weekend, he might not score or assist, but over the course of the season, last season, he got double figures for goals and assists. I think he was the only player in the Championship to do that. And this season, he's playing as part of a front 3 in a 3-4-3 for Millwall. Last time out, he scored against Brentford with his head. I think that's something we see too often, him scoring headers, but it just showed he's got a string to his bow, if you want, and he's so pacey down that wing. He causes teams all sorts of problems. Millwall might be a kind of an unfashionable team in the Championship, and he is an expensive player. But for me, when there's no price cap on this pick, so I've gone for Jed Wallace. 10.1 million he is at the moment, but he's got 24 points so far. I think he's going to continue to add to that potentially against Swansea this weekend. Move from the positives onto the negatives, if you like, here, because now we're going to talk about the big names to avoid. We're looking at players over 6.5 million. you don't want in your team, a bit of a waste of money. Carl, I'll let you go first again.
So I immediately went to Lewis Grabban, who I actually sold out my team, luckily before the Huddersfield game, which he was benched for, after being frustrated for the first 2 games. But then, having thought about it, maybe that would have been last season's last week's player to avoid. But this week, I've actually gone for Todd Cantwell of Norwich, who's 8 million. So he uses up quite a lot of budget, and he's not yet nailed to play for Norwich, simply because he's rumoured to move away from Carrow Road. And I just went by the fact that he wasn't involved at all against Bournemouth, and maybe that's his agent telling him not to take part in any action until the window shuts and he's sure in his mind of where he's going to play. And obviously that he stays injury free if he is to move on. But, having thought about it as well, if he does stay, he could be a great asset. But at the moment, I would avoid, because there is that looming doubt over him actually staying in the Championship. So you don't want to bring a player in who, after the international break, will be eligible to play for your team.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I've actually got Todd Cantwell written down as well, as long as a couple of other names, and then my final pick. So I've got Todd Cantwell, Emi Buendia. They were both dropped by Daniel Farke last weekend because of this transfer speculation. He wasn't happy with their attitude. He wasn't happy with the way they've been behaving, really, and he doesn't want them in the team. So you've got to avoid both of them. But I'll bring Buendia in if he starts and gets into that Norwich team, one of the best players in the league. Elsewhere, Troy Deeney at Watford, not getting any game time. He's quite expensive on the game as well. And Junior Stanislas had been starting for Bournemouth. He was out last week and now he's injured for this weekend. I think he's about 9.5 million. So if he's in your team, I would get rid for this weekend, especially. He's not going to play this weekend. But my actual pick for this one is one, probably not a big name that too many people have picked, but he is £7 million on the game. He does play every single minute. He's going to play this weekend. It's actually Matt Grimes for Swansea central midfielder. A lot of people might have picked him because he's one of Swansea's better known players, along with Ayew. And he played every game last season. He's guaranteed to start, played every game this season. But he's getting deeper and deeper for Swansea in that 3-4-2-1 system they like to play. And although they got 7 assists in 46 games last season, he matched that with 6 yellow cards. So that's the type of midfielder he is. He doesn't get on the score sheet. He's not a goal scorer. He pops up with the odd assist. But if you're paying £7 million for a midfielder who's going to get booked every now and again, it's not worth having him in your team. So Matt Grimes is my one to avoid this weekend.
Yeah, and definitely not when you've got Morgan Gibbs-White at the same price.
Exactly.
And Lowe as well, who's playing out of position, so he's more likely to get on the score sheet as well as a striker.
Some good Swansea options in there. We both think they'll do quite well this season, I think, but stay away from Matt Grimes on Fantasy Football Gaffr this week. So now we move on to the fourth category, which is our bargain buys for under 6 million. Again, Carl, I'll let you go first. I think there's quite an obvious one here as well.
Well, mine, I've actually I've gone for someone who might not be a standout option. But I've gone for Reading's Omar Richards, who is a 4.1 million left back who's started and played every minute for Reading so far this season. So Reading had the 9th best defensive record in the Championship last season, in an attacking team that looks even better under Paunovic. He's played 66 games for the Reading first team, and he's already scored 3 goals. So that's 1 goal every 22 games, which is quite good going for a left back at 4.1 million. And he's also completed the second most dribbles in the league this season. So he'll be up there most weeks for getting that dribble bonus for completed dribbles, which will add towards his total performance points at the end of the game. So he's likely to get the bonus points just because of that.
when you're looking at a bargain, that's certainly one, isn't it? 4.1 million. I mean, that's a great find. I picked another Reading player, probably a bit more of an obvious one. I went for Michael Tuesday, the winger at the moment, 4.7 million. He comes in at. He again started every game, I think, so far. Left wing under Pojanovic, 18 years old, and he's looked really good this season. 1 goal and 2 assists in 3 games already. And I think a lot of people thought Reading would struggle. I certainly did this season. They could still, but if they keep up this start, got a tough fixture this weekend against Watford.
Yeah.
He really
Well, that's
to watch.
the reason that I didn't go for Michael Elise is because of that Watford fixture, because Watford have been defending quite well. So I think right now I would avoid. I think the next 2 fixtures actually, they play Middlesbrough after that. So again, a defence that is quite solid, and the base of their team is built on the defence at Borough and at Watford, it seems. So at the moment, if I was going to go in on a cheap enabler from Reading, I would go for Omar Richards. But I mean, there's plenty of options for Reading, and they've started the season with 3 wins and 3. So, I mean, you're bound to look at Reading assets and think, well, they could be worth investment, because I think if you look throughout the team, I think they're underpriced.
I did have a couple of backup options as well, because I did consider that tough Watford fixture. I mean, Tyree Stolen at Blackburn's another young winger who's getting some good returns. 2 goals and 1 assist, I think, for 3 games for him so far this season. I think he's 5.6 million, so that's a good option for Blackburn. And if you're looking for a cheap striker who's starting week in, week out, Matty Godden at Coventry, 2 goals already this season, and he's been starting and looking good in front of goal. He's only 5.1 million, although I'd recommend maybe spending a bit more on those 3 strikers, as I've already mentioned. So we finished with
So that goes on to that goes on nicely to my one to watch, actually, if I could jump in, because I've gone for Matt Godden as a 5.5 striker for Coventry, who's scored 2 goals in 3 games already. I'd also like to add that he's joint 3rd for most shots in total out of any player in the Championship. He's also joint 3rd for most shots on target, which is very good for the bonus calculations. And he's playing a Bournemouth defence on Friday that have conceded 3rd most goals, 3rd most shots, in the Championship so far. So he's one to watch for me. He's not someone I'm looking to get in straight away. He's someone who I can watch, luckily, because the game against Bournemouth falls as a TV fixture. So I can have a look at how he performs, I can have a look at his movements, I can have a look at his style of play, and how Coventry try to get the ball into him. And if they get the ball into him enough over the 90 minutes, I will strongly consider Matt Godden as my next transfer.
You've redeemed yourself picking a Coventry player at the end after that Solanke pick earlier. Matt Godden's a great player. So this one to watch category is a player to watch from the games that are on TV this weekend. So it's Coventry Bournemouth on Friday night, and then Norwich Derby, the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. Unsurprisingly, I've also picked another Coventry player, and you might disagree with this one because I picked Coventry defender, and Bournemouth have been good going forward. But I picked Fankati Dabo, the right wing back. He's exceptional. He's one of Coventry's best players. He's only played twice so far this season out of 3. He was injured for the first game. It says he's got no assists, but he got 1 assist against Barnsley. It was deflected, but he made the goal. He should have been given the assist. He's only 5 million at the moment. He plays so far forward. You'll notice it once you watch the Coventry game on Friday night. They really push their wing backs high, and he is such an attacking outlook for Coventry on that right wing. They play with really narrow midfield, and he is basically the right winger. Getting forward, he whips crosses in to try and find Matt Godden. And I think once people see him play and get another look at him against another team, they're really going to have to consider him at that price. For a defender, I think you're getting a midfielder at least value for how far forward he plays.
Yeah, I totally agree with the Dabo pick, because I think he's probably Coventry's best asset and probably one of the best assets in the game at 5.0 as a defender. Like you said, he likes to push forward. He's an attacking outlet for Coventry down the right-hand side, but he's also part of strong defence. And last season, I think they averaged at less than a goal conceded per game.
Yeah, it was 30 goals conceded, over 36 games.
So yeah, that was the best defensive record by far in League One. So I'm looking at Dabo. It'll be interesting to see actually who gets the most points over the season between Godden and Dabo, because they're both standout options for Coventry. I'm not really sure which one to go for yet. So they're both ones to watch, I think.
While we talk about Coventry options, I will throw Callum O'Hare in there as well. I think if you're looking at 3 Coventry players, those would be the ones.
Yeah.
He's already scored this season, but he's our best player at the moment by far. But I think often his touches, his points might come from dribbles, take-ons, those sort of things. He's very attractive on the eye, but people have questioned his final output. So goals and assists, maybe not quite there. We'll see how he gets on Friday night, I think.
It's a wait and see. Sorry, it's a wait and see on Coventry, definitely. I've been impressed with them so far. They have come up against teams that there's doubts over, particularly the QPR defence. I know they won 3-2 against QPR, and the opening day actually, I was quite impressed with them to keep Bristol City at 1-1 for so long. It could have easily got a draw then.
Yeah.
So really impressed with Coventry.
I think many Bristol City fans think it's the toughest game they've had this season, but we'll keep an eye on that. And what we're going to do to finish is have a look at both of our teams, how they're looking for the weekend. So I'll pop them on screen now. If you could just talk us through your lineup at the moment and a couple of reasons why you pick key players that you haven't mentioned so far.
So far, my bus team. So if I was to be run over tonight, God forbid, my team would still do well over the weekend, but hopefully, because I've set it up as Woodman in goal. Off the top of my head, I have Bidwell also as Swansea cover defensively against Millwall, who don't score too many goals, but if they are to score, it's Jed Wallace, who I've also started. My other defenders are Tommy Smith of Stoke, my team, and I think a clean sheet against Birmingham could be on the cards. Fingers crossed that he doesn't get injured as we record on the Thursday before the League Cup tie against Aston Villa. And my other defender from the top of my head is from 4 at the back, Hutchinson from Millwall. I just remember my team now. I'm on Gaffr so often, but so Hutchinson from Millwall. Again, if Millwall are to score, you'd think it would come from set pieces from Wallace into Hutchinson, who has a great goal record. I think he scored six goals last season. So that's my defence. Onto my midfield, Mbeumo. He's playing against the Preston side that are good defensively, so he wouldn't be a captaincy option. But with Mbeumo, because he likes a dribble, he likes a shot as well. He's always good for performance points, even if he doesn't get the attacking returns. And also in midfield, I have Sam Clucas against Birmingham. And I know that Birmingham are quite resolute, especially under Karanka. I think they've only conceded 1 goal this season, I think, a couple of clean sheets. So, I mean, I'm not 100% on starting Clucas, actually, or Tommy Smith. And I've also got a treble up of Stoke players, being a Stoke fan. I also have Davis on my bench. But onto my strikers. So I've gone for a 4-3-3. My strikers, as I've mentioned already, I have Naki Wells, Adam Armstrong, and Dominic Solanke.
Very, very nice. Looking like a good team. I'll run through my team and you can give your reactions to my team. So if I've gone for Millwall's Bilkowski in goal, for me, he's probably one of the best keepers in the Championship, one of the best defences in the Championship, and hopefully we'll get some clean sheet points. Back 3, Bidwell, I agree with you completely. He's a great asset to have. I've gone for Max Aarons while he's still at Norwich. I'm going to keep playing him. I'm probably going to have to sub him out in a few weeks when he goes to Bayern Munich. Let's hope he doesn't get dropped this weekend. And Fankati Dabo, so 3 really attacking defenders I've gone for. In midfield 4, I've gone for Mbeumo, agree with you there. Jed Wallace, agree with you there. Gone for Danjuma at Bournemouth and Callum O'Hare. So far, I think Danjuma scored last weekend or maybe the weekend before. Callum O'Hare I have included as well. And then my front 3, I've gone for Naki Wells, Adam Armstrong, I've put in Timo Pukki because I had some money to spare. So I haven't got Matty Godden. I've gone for Pukki, and they're playing a pretty poor Derby side this weekend. So I won't captain him, but I think he should get on the score sheet. So that's my team at the moment. A couple of subs. I've got Fox, Elise from Reading, and I don't know who else I've got there. Rico Henry, who I think's out this weekend, but I'm not going to take him out of my team. He'll come back in when he's back fit. So that is my team. And well, what do you think of that?
Initial thoughts are good. You've got all starting players, which is great. So you're not into overhaul territory, as it's called on Gaffr. Obviously, you get I think it's 15 bonus chips to use over the season, as opposed to the 3 that you get in FPL. So the overhaul is your FPL wildcard. So sorry. Yeah, so obviously, you've got the power in there. I like the fact that you've got the attacking defenders. Even if they don't get the clean sheet, you've still got the potential for an assist or a goal. I like the Pukki shout. Yeah, is Pukki your captain then?
No, he's not. Adam Armstrong is my captain this weekend.
That's surprising. Yeah.
Yeah,
if I had Pukki in my team, I'd captain him against this Derby defence. I mean, they've conceded. How many have they conceded now?
I think it's 8 or something.
Eight or 10 goals so far. Yes, it's crazy.
I went for form
against Blackburn.
Form in Adam Armstrong. I mean, he's going to be confident in front of goal. Maybe I'll change that before we get going this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think Pukki is the best captaincy shout for this game week. If I could pick any player in the game to be my captain, it would probably be Pukki. Just because Derby keep the ball well, but with the pace that Norwich have on the counter, Pukki in behind, I just think he just needs a through ball or 2 in the game, and he's got himself a couple of goals. So yeah, Pukki is proven at this level. He's playing a poor defence, and that's pretty much it.
That's a lovely way to round off. I hope Timo Pukki can score in front of the Sky cameras on Saturday for my team. Thanks very much for joining me on this one, Carl. It's been the first episode of this series, but do join my league in Gaffr. We're going to see how the season goes. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Carl.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us on, and hopefully I can be back soon.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you on the channel soon. Thanks for watching again, guys. Make sure you join the league. Link in the description below. But that is it for me, guys. I will see you on the next one.